Hello, 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 hello. Are we live? Let's have a quick look. Looks like we might be. Oh, turn the volume down, that would help. Oh, I've got it in there. Oh, what's happened to the chat? This is confusing. I'm easily confused, me. There we go. There we go. Right, hold on a sec. We're getting there slowly. Okay. All right. Brilliant, brilliant. Well, hello. Anyone that's on? Hello, hello, hello. This is a very impromptu live stream, and I was going to make a video, to be honest with you, about our the opening weekend. And have you been out? Have you been out, and have you been enjoying them? Well, we have our review for you. I was going to do a separate video on review, but here we are. Here we are. Right, Little G, hi. Matthew, hi. Smoking Toad, hi. Theme Park Awesome, hi. Chloe, hello. Kurt, I didn't even tell Kurt. He spotted it, look. Smoking Toad, I'm sorry there's lag. I am sorry there's lag. Hopefully it picks up a bit. I've just closed down something that was going a bit crazy. So hopefully that's helped. Now, went to Chesington yesterday. Oh, interesting. Let us know how Chesington was. So, Bailey Cameron Vlogs, hello, hello. And off to Chesington tomorrow. Well, everyone's off to Chesington. Slushy Vlogs, I was at your Legoland yesterday. I was at Legoland yesterday, and your Thorpe Park tomorrow in Chesington on the 19th. Funny enough, we're at Thorpe Park today, and we're at Chesington on the 19th, coincidentally. So yes, we went to Legoland Windsor yesterday, and we went to Thorpe Park today. And they were very, very different experiences. I have to tell you, they were very, very different experiences. And we wanted to do a review because obviously the theme parks are open. I know some people are really disappointed they couldn't book tickets to get out because it just seemed to sell really, really quickly, And then I know that some people were really on the ball and managed to get out to the parks they wanted to go to. Now, anyone that's following us on Facebook, we did post yesterday that we were at Legoland. We didn't post anything from Thorpe Park today. We decided against it. However, there will be videos coming very, very shortly for that. But if you've been to anywhere else, because we've been reading up on what's been happening at Chesington and Alton Towers and Blackpool Pleasure Beach, not really heard anything else from any of the other parks. If you've been to any other parks outside of Legoland and Thorpe Park, 100% pop in the comments. We want to hear exactly what's going on. Smoking Toad, no sign of blue barnacle boats. Yeah, well, that's a bit of a shame. They have the foot of the drop tower now and have added the metal grid flattened area of the Ramesses pit. So that is full steam ahead. Full steam ahead. Little G, I heard Alton Towers was interesting. Yeah, so did we. So did we. And all coasters are super smooth. Yeah, I've really not heard any complaints. Not really heard any complaints at all about Chesington. But we'll start with Legoland. So we went to Legoland yesterday, and I have to say, my perception was, and I said this to the children as well before we went, that I thought Legoland would be the worst of all the parks. I don't know why. And we've probably had worse times at Legoland than we've had at any other park. As a general rule, we always tend to. And it was completely opposite. It was just totally opposite. So we arrived at Legoland, and I was expecting a bit of a pile up outside, and it was very well laid out. Very well laid out completely. And the only problem we had was when the gates opened, it was a bit of a free-for-all. So we didn't really have an issue. It was a bit, people were still overtaking, even though, there's not that many people going in. So Legoland confirmed that they are only at 30% capacity, which is, it's amazing. When you think about it, it's absolutely amazing. And it just felt like it. We went in, they've marked out left and right arrows where you're going. I posted a picture of the roundabout on Facebook. People really took offence to it, but honestly, engaging for the children and the family to have little giveaways and roundabouts and arrows and things to follow, And generally, I would say 95% of Legoland was incredible, absolutely incredible. Now, there are obviously going to be people that don't follow what they, need to follow, and are not kind of doing what they need to do. However, it's worth noting that Legoland staff were very much move over, get over here. This is the way you can walk, please. Please make sure you're keeping 2 meters apart. And there were tannoy announcements, and it was just really good. Really, really good. We had an amazing day. We got on all the rides we wanted to get on. And of course, Legoland were first to announce what rides that weren't going to be open for this year, whether it be temporary or whether it be completely shut into next year. And, it was accurate, to be honest. The water rides opened at 12 o'clock. I know we've seen a few complaints about that. And, but, it kind of was all right. There wasn't really enough people there. It wasn't really enough people there, to be honest with you. Just reading the books there. Hi, Neil. Yes, we're all good. We're all good. Safe didn't go anywhere now. Didn't go anywhere now. Well, yesterday. Yeah. Smoking Toad. Yeah, we'll get to that every 30 minutes. Yeah, every 30 minutes. So, every 30 minutes at Legoland and Thorpe Park today, they disinfect the trains. The ride, anything you like. And again, with Legoland, it was just, they had a bit of a problem with the machine on the Dragon. Grant them that. It wasn't spraying, it was kind of trickling out. There was a problem with it. But everything else was just really speedy, really thorough. Felt like it went, it felt like they were doing it because they needed to do it rather than doing it because they had to do it. And, Mina's Ride and Adventure, for instance, and you'll see this on the vlog. We do show some bits on the vlog when that comes out later this week. It's one seat on, one seat off, one seat on, one seat off. Doesn't matter whether you're a family or friends or however you've, gone to the park. It doesn't matter. That's the rules. No one sits next to each other. There's no groups. It doesn't get complicated. That's how you are. And it made for really, really quick loading. Really, really quick loading. And it's great that Smoking Toad saying that Chesington are doing exactly the same thing. Because, today was a very different experience. However, Legoland, we finished off the day. It is disappointing some of their rides are shut, but their clear adverts on their website, and we did do a video on it, were something else. It was 100%. It was 100% right, and I really can't have any complaints at all about Legoland yesterday. It doesn't matter what people think. We had a few Facebook comments saying, the action isn't at Legoland, no one's interested. You have to remember, Legoland get all the investment because it's the busiest park. And that's why. That's why they get it. They've got the new area coming for 2021. If you haven't seen already, construction is underway. That is definitely happening for 2021. We've looked through this before, but it's definitely happening for 2021. And yeah, they get the investment for that very reason. They get the investment because they're busy. It's as simple as that. That's why they get the investment. So there is a lot of interest in Legoland. I have to say, I think Legoland was fantastic. Truly, truly fantastic. Now then, Thorpe Park today. Yeah. So I know we read in the comments that someone had a really good day, and it does kind of sum it up here. Matthew sums it up. Thorpe Park was really good, except people social distancing in queue lines. I don't understand why people can't stick to the spots. No. Well, Thorpe Park today, entering the park, fantastic. Better than Legoland. Actually better than Legoland. There was no rush to the gate because they controlled it much better, let a few people through, and it was fine. Once in the park, the whole park felt like a free-for-all. It genuinely felt like a free-for-all. There's no real direction. There's a few signs up, and you talk about social distancing in queue lines. Problem is, where there's groups of 4+ people, even though there probably shouldn't be groups of 4+ people unless they're a family, they kind of take up 2 spots, which really muddles the queue. And of course, people naturally are thinking, and probably rightly and slightly wrongly so, I need to keep 1 to 2 meters ahead, away from the person in front. But where a lot of the Thorpe Park queue lines are proper cattle pens, sometimes you can stand at the end and then need to leave a 5-6 meter gap because there's someone next to you in the middle. So if you move 2 meters to the end, you would have someone next to you. And they did make it quite confusing. Thorpe Park's layout, Not the best, not the best. And we started off at Colossus, and oh my god, whoever thought about the loading of Colossus needs to be shot. There's no other way around it. So most of the coasters are one row on, one row off, one row on, one row off. Colossus isn't. Colossus is 4 on, 4 off, 4 on, 4 off. And that sounds great until you've got a single rider, or until you've got 2 people. And and of course, the first train, we walked in and they were sterilising the trains. They obviously hadn't done it the night before because we were first to the ride. And the first one goes on and it leaves with 7 people. The whole train, which can hold 28 people, leaves with 7 people. Now, that's because the front row just had 1 person on the front seat, which then knocked out the row behind, the row behind that, the row behind that, all knocked out. Next one had 2 people, so then it had 3 rows completely knocked out. Then you had a group of 3, and then you had 1 at the back. It was, the way it's done is absolute nightmare, absolute nightmare. Fun fairs, yeah, we will be going to the fun fairs, to be fair, we will be going to the fun fairs. Dom97, I'm sure you just left a dislike. If you were listening, it's constructive. It's constructive. With pandemic times, you leave a row on, you take a row off. You leave a row on, you need a row off. It doesn't matter how many groups there are. It doesn't matter so much, what's happening. That's the way they should be doing it. It's the way all Merlin parks and all theme parks are doing it. That's the way they're all doing it. How am I an expert in this? Because every single ride in the country is running like that, except Colossus. Except Colossus, the only ride that's not. And when you're standing there and there's only 40 people in front of you, and it takes you 25 minutes to get on the ride because they allow 6 people. You can keep coming back with comments, but 6 people on a train that holds 28 people is not acceptable. Even in social distancing terms, load the front rows, absolutely fine. Works fine on all the other coasters. And I will say, all the other coasters it worked absolutely fine on. Works fine on Inferno, worked fine on Stealth. Swarm obviously is not a problem, it can go right the way through. So yeah, it's not great. It's better than no rides. Well, to be fair, half the park's shut, so you can say better than no rides. But we've been visiting Thorpe Park since the early 80s. It's not like we're one of these new people that have just been going the last few years. We're a massive defender of Thorpe Park. We love going to Thorpe Park. But the idea of this is, what I'm giving you is constructive feedback on how the day was compared to another Merlin park that's using exactly the same procedures. Exactly the same. The other Merlin parks are 1 row on, 1 row off. Load the train as much as you can. Ultimately, I completely understand that it's better than having no rides, hence why we've gone. It's obviously the reason why we've gone. But at the same time, you've got to make the most of the people that are still paying money to go to the park. There are still people that are doing it. And as Matthew says there, Nemesis at Alton Towers is fully loaded. Nemesis Inferno isn't. Now, I don't actually have a problem, genuinely don't have a problem with Nemesis Inferno loading every other row. Genuinely don't have a problem with that. The queue moved really well. No problems at all. Absolutely no problems. But what I do have a problem with is thinking that 4 on, 4 off, when you have a single rider, that's 8 seats with 1 person on. Now, you can love Thorpe Park all you like, and I love going to Thorpe Park. Love going. Hence why I've taken my children there, my family there, and I've gone. I can love Thorpe Park all I like, but I cannot justify 1 person in 8 seats. No one can justify 1 person in 8 seats. There's no point in you saying better than no rides when there's 1 person in 8 seats. It's absolutely ridiculous. Absolutely ridiculous. So yeah, but apart from Colossus, you hear it all out. The coasters were running fine. Saw didn't open today. The Saw wasn't open. They had technical problems with it. Fine. They always have a problem with running the roller coasters. I get why Walking Dead's not open. And there are a few comments on here. I'm rather, I don't mean to necessarily miss some of these. So temperature checks at Legoland are done as you enter. They're not done in the car anymore. I don't think they're done in the car anymore at Chesington either. I think they're just done via gun when you get to the entrance bit. You were at Legoland yesterday and hardly anyone was wearing face masks. Social distancing, all the kids touching everything. Yeah, walking around the park, we did wear face masks, but not everyone did. It's hard to stop children touching things. It's a really, really difficult one. Yeah, Nemesis Inferno, Nemesis at Alton Towers. That is a strange one for me. Genuinely a strange one for me. Why waiting 2 weeks to go anywhere? Might be a good one. The cattle pen system needs to be separated. And I tell you, it actually worked better, to be fair, in the Nemesis Inferno queue to use the back bit, because obviously it's far more open. But of course, they've never put a gate at the cattle pen part. So if they had put a gate by the cattle pen part, that probably would have worked really well. Colossus was working well because the way the queue snakes is really good. Stealth as well, that works well. The way the queue goes around works absolutely fine. It was fairly windy today, but Saw was having other technical problems. We were told it was having other technical problems, not down to the wind. So yeah, the loading on Colossus, and I will say, only Colossus. People can go off their thing and leave dislikes what they like, but only Colossus was a problem with loading. Everything else had absolutely no problem with. Were they as efficient as Legoland at cleaning? No, but again, you know, they've been supplied hand sprays, and you know, Legoland had jet wash sanitizers, so they were a bit unlucky on that fact. To be fair, they hadn't necessarily, been given the right tools to do it, which did make it a little bit longer. Tiger Rock had late opening, Gruffalo was fully open. Yeah, as we said, the water rides at Legoland didn't open until 12, wasn't really a problem. And then I heard social distance in Alton Towers and Thorpe Park are good for social distance, Legoland and Chesington aren't great. Well, Alton Towers, I should hope, is really good because it's massive, absolutely massive. Thorpe Park wasn't great, but yeah, you know, reading through the comments, everyone else seems to, you know, the way Legoland have laid it out, I have no complaints with Legoland, have no complaints. Obviously, I do understand that people are going to have different experiences when they go to the park, and all I want to do is give you our review of the weekend. That's it. You know, you can take what you want from it. You know, you'll have a different experience when you go to the park depending on what your expectation is. You know, Thorpe Park we got frustrated with. You know, we counted 44 people, staff members, without face masks on. And you know, Thorpe Park say it's not mandatory, but Merlin had turned around and said all our members will be wearing face masks. You know, we had security go through our bag who didn't have a face mask on, which is not what we were expecting. You know, all the other theme parks, and we've seen pictures, and we've been to Chesington and Legoland, have all their bin opened, and because Thorpe Park have open bins out and about, they've completely forgotten about all their ones in the queue line, which haven't been lifted. They just totally forgot about them, and they admitted it as well. So Thorpe Park seemed to be the less prepared, I would say, however, it will probably change. I've heard some horrendous stories from Alton Towers this weekend. Some absolutely horrendous ones. I got to see Tiger Rock with no water and then turn the water on. I've never seen that. At all, and I've always wanted to see that. You enjoyed Thorpe Park today? Don't get me wrong, we enjoyed going on the rides today. We had great fun going on the rides today. It was wonderful to get back on Swarm again. We couldn't quite brave the wait for Stealth, but we were loving getting back on it. Legoland was the best, I agree. I think from the general reviews, Legoland seemed to come out well. The only problem I have with Thorpe Park today is it took them 15 minutes to dispatch Samurai. Yeah, and I don't really understand why. The main problem I had with Samurai when we went to it quite early was there were 6 groups of 2, and of course it needs 15 people to run it. So they had to then have a group of 4 overtake and a group of 3 overtake in order to have the 15 people on. But you know, good batching, and I can't see an issue with that. It's a pain with this lockdown. I work on a fun fair, Sam. Yeah, and you know, Cole's Fun Fair opens next Friday down in Bursledon, and I can't wait to get back there. Can't wait. Shaw's Fun Fair opens in East Grinstead, and it's an East Grinstead one we visit every single year. We will 100% be going to that as well. Freak Out and Turbo are there, 2 of my favourite travelling ones, so we will definitely be going on that. Sam, I feel your pain. I'd love to see them open. I think they can only have 30 people. Which is, it's shocking, and I don't agree with it. Chesington update videos, favourite videos, because you're obsessed with Chesington. Thank you very much. We're obsessed with Chesington as well. Aaron, hello. Thank you for joining us. Matthew, it's a shame the music at Thorpe Park is turned down. The atmosphere is slightly, I think the music was new. We didn't really acknowledge it in our videos today, but there were some nice mixes going on today. And the issue was then, when they did announcements, you couldn't hear them. Little G, theme parks can't do much about people not social distancing. No, and I agree with that. I agree that they can't do anything about people doing it, but when you go to Legoland on the Saturday and Legoland do announcements, no joke, every 5 minutes. We were in the dragon queue for about 20 minutes, and every 5 minutes there's announcements. Please assure you're standing on your spot and you're respecting other people. And Thorpe Park do nothing over an hour period of queuing for a coaster. You know, there's things you can do to encourage people whilst not being able to stop them at the same time. And I think that's what, you know, we experienced today, was that Thorpe Park just didn't seem that prepared. And I think because of the staff they hired, didn't necessarily seem as engaged as what the Legoland ones did. But, you know, that's our experience today. We had a great time on the ride. Samurai, honestly, best cycle I've had on Samurai in years. Absolute years best cycle I've had on Samurai. Can't complain. Can't complain at all. Thought it was brilliant. Brilliant, brilliant. It's a bit of a shame Rush wasn't open. We didn't get on Vortex, it was a bit up and down, but we got on Zodiac. Loved a bit of Zodiac. As I said, Nemesis Inferno, running lovely. Running lovely. And Swarm, you know, Swarm is one of these coasters that's growing with age, 100%. And, you know, we got front row on Colossus and Nemesis Inferno. Bear in mind, you can't queue for them. We got front row on Colossus and Nemesis Inferno and back row on Swarm. Honestly, on a Sunday in the middle of, you know, the beginning of July, summer, regardless of what's going on, you just can't ask for better. And, you know, I won't take that away. I won't take that away at all. But Thorpe Park definitely had some problems inside the park compared to Legoland yesterday. And however, you know, juvenile people think it might be for Legoland to do a one-way system and mark things out like a road, the kids were far more engaged with that. The queue for an hour for Duplo Dino Coaster yesterday. Yeah, feel your pain, we've done that before. Matthew, Quantum had a short cycle. Well, funny enough, we saw Quantum going, and we decided that we wouldn't do it. We just decided it just didn't look like a great cycle. It had a 20-minute queue, and yeah, you know, it doesn't sound good either, to be fair. I know it's only just been refurbished, but it's not the best sounding Magic Carpet I've seen. Really like live stream. Thank you very much. We try and get as many as we can. This is a completely impromptu one, this one. Have they painted Colossus yet? No, they haven't painted Colossus yet. They just let it rust through before they replace it. What do we expect for second day of season? Look, Dom, my point is, okay, I genuinely don't have an issue with Thorpe Park. I don't really think I do. I've been visiting Thorpe Park so many, you know, 20, 30 times a year for the last 20 years. You know, my issue is that they're all part of the Merlin group and they're all doing different things. You know, when you go to Chessington and the bins are opened, and you go to Legoland and the bins are strapped back, you know, this is on first day as well, second day, and Thorpe Park haven't done it. You've got to ask the question why they haven't done it. It's just a simple thing. In terms of rides, you know, I'm not upset that Soar was closed. I'm not upset that Soar was closed. I'm not upset that the water rides are closed. I understand why Rush is closed. I'm genuinely not upset about any of the rides that are closed at Thorpe Park. Could they have advertised slightly better on the website that was shut? Absolutely, they could have done. Oh, we go. That Soar open for the last 30 minutes. We were gone by then. But yeah, Soar open. Genuinely not upset with the rides that were closed at Thorpe Park. Disappointed? Sometimes, yeah. You know, it would have been nice to potentially get on Soar. You know, I'd love to get on Walking Dead. I quite like Walking Dead. But I understand why they're shut because of the pandemic. I fully understand that. And genuinely don't have a problem with it. I haven't, you know, the problem I have, and it's not a problem, it's a constructive criticism, is that Legoland had it perfect on their first day of operation, and they didn't. So, you know, they've just got to, they've got to talk, and I did ask them, you know, are they communicating with each other? And I'm sure, yeah, absolutely, Dom. I'm sure they will look back and look at it. You know, I hear Alton Towers was an absolute nightmare this weekend. Absolute nightmare, and I really hope that Thorpe Park do that. I really hope that Thorpe Park do look back and go, yeah, let's take that approach, and let's take Legoland, potentially Chessington's. And as I said, I didn't hear great things about Alton Towers. I heard some good things coming out of Blackpool, but I hope they do that. But from my point of view, I don't understand how the other parks can do it on day one and they can't. But other than that, we had a good day. We got on the rides, you know, we'd like to have got on Stealth. It was too long because some of the other rides were closed. I have no problems with rides having breakdowns, you know. Chances are, even in the summer, if you go to one of these major theme parks, one of the rides are going to be broken down. It's just the way it works. Yeah, hit the notification bell. Hopefully it comes on. Soar opened. That's good. It's good that Soar opened. Good that Soar opened. Hi Ben, thanks for joining. Hi David. Did you make it down to Clarence Pier today? Did you make it down? We do have some new vids coming, hopefully. Clarence Pier today, log flume shut. What? What? The log flume was shut? Oh, I can't believe that. Any new rides coming? Yeah, I'll tell you what, you can see a lot of construction at Legoland. We'll have one on that as well for the new flying cinema. That looked good. No sign of Black Labyrinth. It's all quite closed off. It's all quite closed off. So yeah, nothing really on that. I got on 11 rides today. I can't believe it. I can't believe I've been flogging that log flume so much. I can't believe it was shut. I got 11 rides at Thorpe today. Yeah, you know, to be fair, we'd have hung around. We probably could have got some more. I heard that Alton Towers closed the Dark Forest this weekend. Yes. yes, they did. So Kurt kindly suggested to them, because they again, it wasn't announced. You know, Alton Towers didn't announce on their website really what rides were going to be shut, other than Jewel and Hex, which is a shame because I adore those rides. And you know, they did have a bit of a nightmare. And again, you know, Rita has a problem. It happens. It has a problem. Smiler, I think, was wind related. Don talks about wind related on Soar. I think it was worse up there. So I think Smiler was wind related. It's unfortunate. And of course, 13 needs 15 people to ride. It needs 15 people to ride. And you can't social distance with more than 15 people. So the answer is, you need to put sandbags in to bulk it up. You need to put sandbags in. It's as simple as that. Put the sandbags in, the alternate seats, you can fit 10 people on, and the weight will be absolutely fine on it. That's just the way it works. Wind is a massive factor on rides, and part of the reason why we had the incident on the Smiler was the fact it was over the wind speed. So the wind, all water dummies on there. So yes, the wind is huge, absolutely huge. The wind catches the car at a high point, the car will stop, it will valley. That's it, it will valley, and in the Smiler's instance, it will crash. Do we know if it's safe to have sandbags on and people at the same time? That's a very good point, Dom. And I don't know, and we did say, we don't know whether this is for 13, but Big One does it every week, every year since 1994. Big One will have sandbags in when it has passengers in them as a train. So I imagine there is a certain type of bag, and the question will probably have to be is whether Alton Towers have that certain type of bag. I would think that's probably the question. Sam, love your videos. Thank you very much, Sam. Smoking Toad, Twin Boss broke down because of new air gates twice. Yeah, they've got new air gates, haven't they? Quite like those. Jake, get Cobley on. Who's Cobley? Who's Cobley? Yeah, Smiler wind related. Yes, wind related. Yeah, massive. That's part of the reason why it crashed. Was the wind was what slowed it down, and it's why as well that you generally only see it with water dummies. And Matthew's saying they're water dummies. Absolutely. You know, I know Vampire in the past has run with water dummies and people on as well. It can be done on certain rides, but yeah, you're right on 13. You're right on 13, but we'll see. We'll see. Don't know, then Merlin need to buy those bags. They might need to buy those bags. The Smiler instance is more down to the operator's override of the safety system. Now, what you've got to think of is why it stopped there in the first place. It's not the case of them overriding the safety system. You know, the car didn't just stop because they overrid the safety system. The car stopped because the wind was too high on the day. And you'll see as well at the top of Soar, Smiler, and quite a few rides, there's a little wind gauge at the top. Big One is obviously absolutely prone to being shut in high winds. And that's exactly the reason why, because it's the turnaround point as it comes back round. So if you're standing on the station and you see it come back round, that's the point where it valleys and stops and stalls. And that's why as well, you'll always see the operator, they will never dispatch a train until it's round that corner, pretty much in line with the station. And sadly, you know, Smiler, yeah, obviously they shouldn't have overridden it, but it's the reason why the car actually stopped in the first place. Don, Blackpool family run, Merlin Arts Corporation. I'm sure they're working on a solution, but not running by H&S. Will take time. Yeah, absolutely, possibly, absolutely. And again, all we did was ask the question, you know, Could they have sandbags on it? Could they have sandbags on it? That's the question. If Alton Towers come back and say, no, it's not possible, fair enough. They've obviously explored the idea. No problem with that. It wasn't a case of they should have. It is a case of can they have? And, have they explored it? And, they would have tested that ride with some kind of water dummy on it, 100%. And it added to the ambience. Yeah, the crates on Toon Blast. I think the problem is they wanted to have it safe. It's as simple as that. They just wanted to have it safe. They want to have it safe. Jake, fun fair enthusiast. Yeah, we all love fun fairs. I love a fun fair. Not everyone does, but I absolutely love a fun fair. Strange seeing Jewel closed and the music not playing in Gloomywood. Yeah, I do like the music. No reason not to play the music, is there? Something that confused me at Colossus and Nemesis Infernos was shut for wind. However, Stealth was running. Stealth can adjust the power launch. If it can compensate for wind, because they've got wind sensors at the top, so they know exactly how much it's going to be. And, that ride can launch anywhere, I think, between 75 and, about 85 miles an hour. And, of course, Stealth did roll back a few times yesterday. Kurt's saying if it rolls back, it's not an issue compared to others, which is right. And Stealth did have rollbacks on Saturday. I don't know if it had any today, but it did have rollbacks on Saturday. But because it's a launch system, it can compensate for it. It can compensate for it. I really hope Portons can buy Alton Towers somehow. I sadly can't see Portons Park ever having the money to buy Alton Towers. Out of interest, did anyone go to Portons Park? Anyone been to Portons Park this weekend? I haven't really looked to see how they got on. I hear it was really quiet. Everything was walk on. That's good. That's good. So yeah, I'll review from the weekend. We had an amazing day at Legoland. We had a good day at Thorpe Park today. Not amazing. There is definitely things they can do better. Did it detract from the rides? No, the rides were running really, really well. I have no complaints with that. Genuinely, no complaints. I have no complaints with what's shut. Could them and Alton Towers have been a little bit more transparent on the amount of rides that are going to be shut? I think it took everyone by surprise that 13 and Rita weren't open. Yeah, of course they could. But, I am just as happy to get back to the theme parks as what I am, having a few rides shut. So yeah, is what it is. Aaron, I'm very well, thank you. It's been lovely to get back to the parks this weekend. Jake, haven't been to any parks yet. It is early days. Not everyone got to a park this weekend. I guess Icon could do the same as Stealth in wind conditions. Yeah, I don't think you see Icon close in wind-related issues. Same with Rita, because believe it or not, even though Rita's low level, it could still stall. And that has rolled back a few times as well. Would virtual queues be the way at Thorpe Park? It's in the pathways were quite quiet. Yeah, and Matthew, this was it. You walk around the park, it was dead. Absolutely dead. And all of a sudden you'd come to a ride and would just be absolutely covered. And if they had more rides open, granted, people would be spread out a bit better. And I'm sure they recognise that. And the water rides, they have said that they will open the rides as time go on. So it's not a case the water rides are permanently shut. They're not reopening this year. They have actually set out social distancing in all of the queue lines. You can see it in Storm Surge and you can see it in Rumba Rapids as well. So I don't think it will be that long before they start opening, but they have said they'll stagger the opening. And I imagine Storm Surge actually, because it doesn't interweave, the queue line doesn't interweave on Storm Surge, and neither does Rumba Rapids. So I think actually the water rides would be quite easy to open. Zufari was open. Yeah, I did hear Zufari was open. That just took me by surprise that was open. If I had a young kid, Portland would be the first place I go. I'm guessing new expansion will try to appeal to a wider audience. Yeah, absolutely. And yeah. Portland's is one to watch. And I think, the reason why Legoland and Chessington are really powering ahead with their 2021, and of course, Gangster Granny will now open at Alton Towers, and there'll be Black Labyrinth. And I wouldn't mind betting that Thorpe Park have something else up their sleeve for next year as well. 2021 is a big year for theme parks. Big year for theme parks. It was dead as Merlin on Crappy, very low to start. So to learn best behaviours. Yeah, absolutely. I will credit Merlin. They haven't gone gung-ho. 30% is all they're running at in their theme parks. And I said, and I say in the vlog as well, that I think Legoland could have had a few more people in, and I think with a few more rides open, I think that was the problem at Thorpe Park today. With a few more rides open, they could definitely have more people in as well, 100%. And yeah, the chances are as well, Dom, I'll just read you on there. Chances are there's less than 30% in there. Legoland said to me they're selling up to 30%. But again, you know, there'll be loads of people that have booked via annual passes and probably don't show up, to be honest with you. Ghost Train at Pleasure Beach will be shut? No. And it had, the queue line had plastic as well. Now, we did discuss whether or not Thorpe Park or any of the other parks could put plastic up in there. It's quite expensive, but yeah, Pleasure Beach, plastic up. Plastic is up. There's a dead bird floating around Storm Surge. We missed that. Does anyone know how Fantasy Island is doing? No. People weren't very pleased with Fantasy Island's new 4-hour experience for £25. But let me just say, in their defence, that, you know, where it's a free to enter park, this is where there's always going to be a problem when it comes to limiting numbers and social distancing and people wanting to ride. And I understand that these people have been in the past, you know, used to be able to just watch their kids ride, but they've got to understand that it's just not like that anymore. It's just not like that anymore. And they're saying they've reduced it to £18. I have to say, £25, if everything is near walk-on, is a bargain for Fantasy Island. There's loads to do there. Absolutely loads to do there in 4 hours. It's like one massive big fun fair. Loads to do there in 4 hours. You know, if it's busy and you've got to wait 45 minutes for a ride, then there's a different scenario with it. But I don't think it will be like that. You know, we haven't decided we're going to Fantasy Island yet. We're going to kind of see how the country goes, to how far we, you know, people had a go at me for not going to South Shields this weekend for the break dance. You know, I've been riding break dances since the late 80s. I don't need to drive 5.5 hours to go on a break dance. It will be around now for a few years. It will come to fairs, and I'm sure it's great, and we will enjoy it. Portons could do with an amazing modern haunted house. We asked Portons about a dark ride, and they told me there were no plans for it yet. No plans for it yet. But what they would do with a dark ride doesn't bear saying. Chloe, I'm going to Chesington next week. I hope you have a great time, Chloe. I've only heard good things about it. Yeah, much less than 30%. Do we have an Instagram yet? I think Kurt's linked it below. Didn't know. Considering Jordan Hex were closed at Towers. Yeah, Towers, they were giving out free tickets today. They had such a bad afternoon that they were giving out free tickets. So yeah, bless them up at Alton Towers. It doesn't look like there was a problem necessarily with distancing or any rules or anything. It just looks like their rides had a bit of a weekend going into their first weekend. Yeah, you know, it could be quite difficult for them. Jewel could have opened. I'm a bit shocked that Jewel hasn't opened. They could manage people outside. They've got a big queue outside. I am a little bit shocked Jewel hasn't opened. Hex, I understand. Jewel probably could. Portals need to work out what they do when Peppa Pig IP runs out. Well, yeah, this is a problem, Dom, because obviously Merlin owned Peppa Pig everywhere apart from the UK. And there was a 10-year lease on Peppa Pig, which officially runs out, I believe, at the end of next year. And yeah, Portons Park lose it. I'm not going to lie to you, that's a big problem for them. You know, Peppa Pig brought in an extra 500,000 visitors a year, doubled their attendance. And you know, I work only a couple of miles away from Portons Park, and you know, in my shop, people are constantly trying to constantly trying to get at Portons Park. Go, you know, it's Peppa Pig. They go in the afternoon. They take them off to school. It's open until 5 o'clock. They'll go there for the last hour and a half just to go on the Peppa Pig rides at 3:30. And I would imagine that Portons Park were hoping that with Tornado Springs opening this year, that this year running into the end of next year, they would be in an amazing financial position to outbid Merlin on Peppa Pig. Now, I don't know what outbidding Merlin on Peppa Pig looks like. Yeah, I don't know what that looks like. Can't lie to you, I don't know what it looks like. But if they lose Peppa Pig, there's a lot of themed rides in there. It's going to cost them a lot of money to change. I think the question is going to be is how much money can they stump up? How much money can they put together to do it? Yeah, could be a problem. Could be a problem. Let's hope Merlin don't try and buy Portons. I think Mancy's are loving Portons. I can't see them selling it to anyone. Ben, I wonder if construction restarts soon on New Coast at Flamingo Land. Yeah, they've been very quiet on that. I think it's quite clear it's not opening for 2020. Whilst they haven't said anything, I don't think it's opening. I don't think it's opening for 2020. I believe they're still repainting it. There's test paints on it. Yeah, yeah. Bearing in mind that Chesington, they've done a lot of work around the old Ramesses area, a lot of work around there. And it looks like as well that Legoland have done massive work on their new flying cinema for Lego Movie World. I mean, we can't photo it because you can only see it from the top of Mia's Riding Adventure, but a lot of work has been done. A lot of work has been done on there. So yeah, a little bit shocked that Flamingo Land haven't continued construction on it. I think probably the first month to 6 weeks of lockdown probably wasn't an option, but I think as construction started to go back, maybe they could have done, but they probably felt the same as a lot of the other parks. Why rush it? We'll get it ready for next year. And arguably now, the 10 Looper could be ready for March. Tornado Springs could be ready for March. Black Labyrinth will be ready for March. It certainly looks like Chesington will be really pushing ahead to get it ready for opening. Again, Lego Movie World, it all looks like we might have an amazing opening time next March, rather than it being staggered out through, May. I think they were talking about end of June, potentially about now for the 10 Looper. So we might suddenly get it all, get it all at once, which I'm really excited about. And Blue Barnacle, I think Blue Barnacle, as we said at the beginning of this, is going to be the, it's still it might open. It's good to see Blade back in operation at Alton Towers. Yeah, everyone wrote Blade off. There it was, swinging away over the weekend. Great to see it. They only painted it the year before last. I didn't think it was going to go anywhere. Yeah, really pleased to see that back. They kept that thing going. How get on foot the pace mark on roller coaster? Well, Stephen, funny enough, I had a slightly of a face mask. So I didn't have a problem. The boys nearly lost it on Colossus. Nearly. But I think it was all right on everything else that we went on, to be honest. I imagine the disposable ones are a little bit harder because they're generally a bit looser. They're kind of a one size fits all. But the ones we had, were all right. UK Showman High just met Henry Dancer. Sorry, yeah. I think David went to one of his parks up north. Can't remember what it's called. Storeport, somewhere up there. I think he was going there. Nearly lost my mask Inferno. Ben, I have an icon face mask. Ben, don't speak too loudly. Kurt's been waiting 6 weeks for his. Devastated Chesington got rid of Ramsey Revenge. It always drew a big crowd. I cannot see a drop tower being a big spectacle. I hope they make a chain lift system on the coaster quiet and build a Woody. Well, first, yeah, I was sad to see Ramsey Revenge go. It's the only ride at Chesington that went upside down. So yeah, I was disappointed. But the drop tower, it does look nice, and it is going to have water sprays, and I think it's still going to have a nice view in the area. Chesington and a Woody, I don't know. I think it's the general roar of it that's going to be a problem, to be honest, not necessarily the List Hill. 2021 Chesington have quite a lot of new rides opening. Blue Barnacle and Drop Towers could be fun, yeah. Yeah, as I said, we're not sure what's happening in Blue Barnacle. Airtime Legends taking his back at Thorpe Park. It was a bit rammed yesterday. So generally, we're excited obviously for the theme parks to be reopening, all of them. And we do understand that some are going to be run better than others. And I have to say, I think the biggest disappointment is Merlin 1 should probably be run the same. That's my only criticism. They should be run the same. And that will come out in the vlog as well. That was my belief, that staff should not be walking around without face masks on when they're close to people. And we haven't seen that any other park. We haven't seen any staff without face masks. And I know they can't make the public wear it. I can understand that. We wore ours. It was about 70-30 with 30% of people wearing them. Can't understand why Rose is shut on Nemesis Inferno. No, I can't understand. I can't understand at all. But again, this is where we go back to, will Thorpe Park go to Alton Towers? Well, hang on a moment. Do you think it's all right to open it on Nemesis and we're not opening it on Inferno? What are you doing different? Should we be doing it? Is this how it's run? But you would have thought that news would have got down Saturday night. That would be my only thing. But yeah, they are open now permanently. So any amendments have got to be made really quickly. What type of drop tower it be? People are saying it's the same as Portland's, but I doubt it. Yeah, it's the same as Portland's. Pretty much identical in every single way. 16 people. Sadly. What are your thoughts on Leicestershire being back in lockdown? It's obviously a shame because I'm sure they want to get out. I don't really understand how it's working having local lockdown, to be honest with you. I'm sure they want to get out and about. I don't really understand where the spikes come from, how it's come about. It is a real shame. Peaceful spacing away, facing away from each other and loads of space, ridiculous. Yeah, yeah, I know. I think I like Chesington, but been waiting for into rides this year. However, I miss your authentic feel Tomb Terror Tomb had. Yeah, I love Terror Tomb. I think next year they need to redo the outsides. I think the outside, the fact it still says Forbidden Tomb under the sign is a little bit frustrating, to be honest. And the rock work, I think it could all do with a bit of a spice up. So hopefully we get that for Tomb Blaster next year, and it kind of really brings it together. Do you think Tomb Blaster upgrade was due to the drop tower being installed for 2020? Chloe, I don't. I think it was literally the fact that it was god awful. God awful. I can't say anything else to that. I just can't say anything else to that. It was just god awful. It really run its course, and it's wonderful now this year. I do like it. Colossus, you could load each car on front row as well. We were saying this, if they alternated it and run each car, they would get up to 14 people on. Thought it would be more thrilling replacement. No, sadly not. Sadly not. 2021, I hope my KMG speed goes to Thorpe Park. Oh, I'd love to see one of them at Thorpe Park. I really would. I think you might get hammered about on capacity though. That could be the only problem. So I'm quite impressed with Legoland Chester website. They have a lot of rides open. Don't know if they're all open yet. I wonder. Legoland is accurate. There's about 8 rides closed at Legoland. 2 of them though, Squid Surfer and Dragon's Apprentice, are for refurbishment, and Dragon's Apprentice is on scaffolding, and you can't get anywhere near Squid Surfer. So you can take those out of the mix. There are a couple closed. But yeah, I had no problem with that. Chesington looks like it's fairly open, to be honest with you. It seems like those 2 parks seem to be a bit more on point, to be honest, with rides that are open. Although I think CBeebies is quite well open. Yeah, primarily from touching surfaces and in your face, so masks. Counterproductive, keep you from touching your face to adjust it. Yeah, we did say that today actually, that if you keep touching your mask to adjust it, then it is a bit of a problem. And all you can do, the parks have been really good, and that's all of them. Legoland and Thorpe Park we visited today, and Chesington we've already visited. Plenty of sanitizer around. No problems in washing your hands. Again, a slight difference. Legoland was every other sink. Thorpe Park is every sink. And I've had a refurbishment on the toilets outside. The ones inside weren't too great, but the ones outside were really good. So plenty of places to keep yourself clean, to be honest. So yeah, it's difficult. It's a difficult one. I suppose if you cough into a mask, it's your own problem, isn't it? You're not making it anyone else's thing. But I don't think there's a flat, is there a flat way of doing things. Great point, mask not needed makes things worse. Loads of parking units saying mask not needed. But of course you don't have to walk around the park with a mask on. It is literally only on a certain couple of rides. Chloe, I like how you read the chat. Thanks, Chloe. I try to keep up. We don't have very many people. We only have 18 people watching. I should be able to keep up, to be honest with you. I think Girls Slough have a good idea with building screens in the back of their seats and trains. Yeah, and we have talked about that before actually. But again, potential drag, potential weight issues might be a problem on some. The girths are quite high though, to be honest. So to put a panel like on the back of Saw, I can't see being too much of a problem. I could see that being easily done, to be fair. Becoming a nanny state, yeah. Although saying the Who came out today and said it's now airborne, but they've been bought out by China. Yeah, I think it's always been airborne, hasn't it? But they said it was airborne in sort of, environments of poor ventilation. I mean, you can only protect yourself, and at the end of the day, it's how you decide to protect yourself that works. If you decide you don't want to walk around with face masks on, don't walk around with face masks on. You need to wear them on the rides. The rides are only, maximum 60 seconds long. It's no hardship, to be honest with you. It's no hardship. So, yeah, we just wanted to give our review of the weekend. That's all we wanted to do. You know, we had a bit of an indifferent sort of weekend. You know, Legoland was amazing. Thorpe Park was a bit of a letdown in the way they went about things, but it was great to get back on some rides, especially the Swarm today. You know, really good to get back on the Swarm. Queue times are about the same as Chloe as what they would be during the summer, to be honest, because of it. You know, at about half an hour to an hour, probably about the same as what you'd be expecting normally. So I wouldn't say you're going to have a quieter time. However, you know, walking around the park is definitely quieter. All about to turn a smiler into an RMC Ramsar. Turn a smiler into anything would be lovely. Would be lovely. Have you been stuck on a roller coaster, Stephen? Yes, been stuck on a vampire quite a few times. I've had a front row back on Stealth, got stuck on that for 20 minutes. Nightmare. Ben, are we planning to go to Pleasure Beach and Towers? We were planning to go to Towers shortly, but we want to see how it plays out. I think if I was at Alton Towers this weekend, I'd be even more angry than what I am today, to be honest, because it looks like, you know, I want to go for, you know, certain rides. It's quite a long drive for me. These ones are quite local. Blackpool we've already been to in February. You know, it's one of the only vlogs we have got up this year. So potentially, we're really seeing what happens with the world after lockdown before we decide. I think our primarily is actually to go to Pleasurewood Hills and over the Great Yarmouth Way. That's our, you know, it's an area we haven't been to in a couple of years. So that's our primary area, but we'll see. I mean, once it say some theme parks have to wear masks and some saying all of the theme parks outside. I think the UK theme parks are very much advising masks, but needs to be on some rides, and then are not, you know, and not saying to use them. But of course, in America, you have to wear masks all day. You know, you go to Disney, go to Universal, you can't take it off unless you're having a drink or you're in a certain area to take it off. Now, I don't think we need to do that. I think we have some lovely open parks, so I don't think that's necessary. But it's up to you. You know, as I said, there's about 30% of people wearing masks on, you know, all the time, and you know, it's yeah, it's up to everyone, isn't it? I got stuck on a big one 20 years ago. It walked down slate. I haven't been evacuated off a lift hill yet. Would like that. Have you seen Simon's there? It's way better than mine does. I'll tell you what, I'm desperate for a haircut myself. Absolutely desperate. 22 on contract, Thorpe Park, bring my KMG in for 4 weeks. I did make a killing, absolute killing. Get some money from them. Funny enough, Alton Towers had Carters in a few years back. I say a few years back, about 10 years ago. So, you know, nothing's impossible. American parks are worse than Merlin ones for the rules, apart from Disney, funny enough. Yeah, I mean, certainly Universal's and Islands of Adventure have been really strict on it. But yeah, it varies. You know, at the end of the day, procedures aside in terms of masks and things, you know, from our weekend, from our opening weekend on how we perceive things, Legoland was really well set out. Thorpe Park, not quite so much, but rides, great to get back on them. Well, everyone, it's been lovely having a debate with you. You know, we like to have a constructive debate. I know it can get a bit heated sometimes, people can get upset, but we like to have a constructive debate. And, you know, people should know that anyone that's followed the channel and subscribes and watches videos will know that, you know, there is at no point we defend parks if they're undefendable. And it doesn't matter. You know, we don't get free tickets. We don't get any kind of special perks or anything. And we want to make sure that people that are watching it, you know, we go as a family. So, you know, I want to make sure that, you know, families have the option. I know some people go with their friends and some people go, and, you know, and things about that. But, you know, we want to just give our honest opinion on it. You know, Legoland, don't be afraid to book. Absolutely fantastic. Thorpe Park, it needs to bed in. Probably needs a week or two to bed in. It looks like Alton Towers does as well, but we haven't visited there. Just quickly wrapping it up. Have you been to a theme park power cut? Yeah, Thorpe Park a few years back had a power cut. Lasted a few hours, but only one side of the park. So we just went over the other side of the park. It's a theme park trying out new ideas, see what works and what doesn't. Ben, you're absolutely right. And I hope, much like Dom said when we said earlier, I hope they talk. I hope they say this work, and they have a conference call on Monday morning, and, you know, changes are made. Chloe waiting an hour and a half for Vampire in the Stable queue. Chloe really long at Chesington. Have you been? Yeah. Favourite park, Chesington. Can't kill on time. Have we spoken about TPW? Don't understand what's going on, what the drama is real. No, we're not going to speak about TPW. We don't have any affiliation with them, and it's definitely not something we want to get involved in. But thank you everyone. Thank you everyone for joining us today. As I said, we love a good debate. We're just giving our honest opinion. We just wanted to give our review of the weekend. We will have some vlogs online this week as well from Legoland and Thorpe Park. And we say exactly how we feel about them. Say exactly how I feel. Thanks, Neil. Bye. Stay safe. Everyone stay safe. And we'll see you really, really soon.